Yeah, I think that I have watched things happen and observed things that were not necessarily OSHA compliant in a number of settings. Um, I have experience in, I mean, they're all minor things, nothing super overt and crazy. Um, I think a lot of it comes down to the frequency of cleaning equipment that is used in physical therapy places that I've worked, chiropractic places that I've worked, things like that, where I think what it comes down to is, it's a busy day and the therapists don't have the time or the thought to clean everything as frequently. Um, and I'm talking about like, the whole day will go by and nothing gets cleaned in between a patient. Not necessarily like days and days. So I don't even know really how far off from OSHA that really is. I think that that is reasonable unless someone is like visibly like leaving the equipment or whatever they were using visibly contaminated. And I think I have seen that too, where they've like sweat all over something and then it doesn't get cleaned right away and it may get forgotten about potentially. I'm trying to think if I'm making that up now or not. But as far as the water birth situation goes, yeah, so prior to the pandemic, what we did was we just put on sterile gloves. We didn't put on the entire full length arm gloves. And my preceptor did explain to me that, obviously this is all going to get contaminated, but it was more safe for the client because it's their own microbiome. But as far as we're concerned too, just being aware of if we had any broken skin or anything like that, that we would have to do more to create a barrier so that we're not contaminating them or becoming contaminated ourselves or infected. So, and I think it's mostly because, yeah, the full length arm gloves are a pain and they're annoying. And now that we are in pandemic land, we've definitely been to the nines with all that. And another thing that we didn't really wear masks. We didn't really do the whole face shield thing or any of that, even when birth was imminent. Stuff like that just wasn't what we did. But again, now that is definitely a thing. We wear face shields, particularly with water births, and masks all the time, and the hair caps and all of that. My thing is that with these, and I like the idea of putting a glove on over top of the water gloves because that would just make it, they're so big and cumbersome. It's like even the fingers and stuff are massive. It reminds me of those food grade, like really cheap disposable food grade gloves that are just like huge with the fingers. No one's fingers are that big. And I think that that would help with that. I feel like I could feel things still, but that would help just with keeping it from being so way too big. And then I wonder if there is more than one size. I don't know. I feel like this seems like it's a one size fits all, but if there was a better size to where there is like this elastic up here, but it's again, it's like super loose. It doesn't really stay up, and you don't want to touch this and be doing that because then that kind of like negates the purpose. And so, you kind of have to like put those on at the last minute. It seems like if you have to put your hands in the water, maybe one, it's sort of tricky to make it work and not have it be like you're changing them constantly, these big huge things, which does happen, especially now that we're like way more alert and on top of the whole PPE deal.